probably saying, yes, I want to knock some sparks out of it. For all my viewers, I wish you all a happy new year and all the best for 2017 for you and your loved ones. We immediately start this first video of the year with a very interesting topic. I was tagged by Windham Woodcraft.
I will tag someone off of the beaten path. How about my buddy Steve from the Steve channel.
And I was very pleased with this tag because there is so much going on and so much misunderstanding about bushcraft or survival knives. I almost start immediately writing things up. But how further I progress in my defining a bushcraft or survival knife, I noticed I wonder too much of the subject. There is so much going on and so much to write or tell about. I wrote 6 pages and many post notes for just making this video. And I always wonder first of all, is there a thing called survival or bushcraft knife? Of course not. A knife is just a tool. You have to find a tool that's suitable for you, for any task you want to do. For us it is bushcraft or survival, so we take a knife that is suitable for bushcraft or survival. Woodcarver have simply other tools than a butcher. How to define a good bushcraft or survival knife? I don't want to step on people's toes. Maybe some people are going to be offended with the things that I say or my thoughts are, but I would like that you write your comment below the video, and so we can all read them and we can give comments on each other. That's where the comments are for. If you look in history and you watch old paintings or old manuscripts, the knives that they use were mostly the knives that they have for daily use, what we call our EDC. There is no difference between survival or bushcraft knives. Only if you count these type of knives. In my humble opinion, these knives are not good for anything, just for hanging on the wall as decoration. The hollow handle knives mostly break where the blade is attached to the handle, because there is the weakest point. I see hollow handle knives with pocket knives in their handle. If you lose your knife, you lose also your pocket knife and you have no knife left. Is it a good thing to wear a survival kit in your hollow handle? Same reason. Lose your knife, you lose also your kit. Better is to make a kit and wear it on your body or on your sheet. If you lose your knife, you never lose your sheet. If I had to choose between a hollow handle knife or a kitchen knife, I'd rather take the kitchen knife into the woods. In my opinion, there are 2 types of commercials. The one the industry makes and the one that we make. Everybody agrees with me that this is a very cheap and reliable bushcraft or survival knife. High carbon steel, Scandi grind, and a cheap one. High carbon steel, orange handle, if you drop it you find it more easier. A finger guard, also a Scandi grind. Half of the price of the Mora. but more as a great knife. But this knife is not so popular. So the industry has nothing to do with the selling ratings of Mora. If you look to their newest knife, the Eldris, type Eldris, and you see how many videos that are already made by YouTubers about the Eldris knife. We are sucked in for making videos for companies too. Not that they are bad knives, but we love gear. But the contradiction is, Eldris is also a small knife blade. Fill-tang knives are very good. Very strong, very durable. No question about that these are the strongest knives that there are. But also the most heaviest ones. I think it's more an American preference to have a fill-tang knife. The people here in Europe up north, they don't have fill-tang knives. They have rat-tail knives because the wood of the handle, they insulate the cold of the metal. You're using your big sturdy knife to cut off half a forest to make shelter and fire. You're ignoring rule number 1 in survival: saving calories. A serrated knife. Not my cup of tea. I cannot think I ever used a serrated knife for anything, but that is why it's for everybody different. The best thing before you buy something is do your research. The classic designs are probably the best knives. What? You really need a knife to baton? Maybe you have to learn to make a fire. I hardly use my knife to baton. But it is good to know that your knife can take a beating if you really need to baton. That's something totally different. There's a big difference between buying a knife just for batoning or knowing that your knife can baton. Also the steel. Everybody is talking about high carbon steel. A while back we have heavy rain and the basement was flooded. All my knives that were in a closet in the basement has rust on it. All the knives rust except one, and that was this one. And this one was not a favorite knife of mine. I just bought this because it was so awkward. Is high carbon steel superior above stainless steel? What if you live on the coast? The silty air will rust immediately your high carbon steel. Divers don't have high carbon steel. Oh, you say for sparks? Well, now not every high carbon steel produces sparks. If you're using flint and steel, it's also high carbon steel, but it's tempered in a different way. It's more brittle. This is my steel from my flint and steel kit. It is high carbon steel, and this steel will produce sparks. This is also high carbon steel, but it will not produce sparks. But it's tempered in a different way. If you drop it, it's probably going to break in two. It's more brittle than your knife. And my knife will not break in two. It's because this is a little bit softer than this one. And it's the same kind of steel. Oh, about the batoning. This is a chisel. Is it fill-tang? Or is it rat-tail tang? No. It's partial. It's only a small piece of metal that goes inside the handle. And this is made for some beatings. But I can baton also with my pocket knife. If I take my pocket knife and make some wedges, take much bigger logs than the fill-tang knife that I have. There is no difference. Only models. And oh boy, there are many models on the market right now. Many knives are unusual and even weird. Also designer knives. Because it's very popular the last few years to have some survival programs. There are also many types of knives on the market. Don't rely on a knife that is made with the help of a celebrity to sell more knives. Most of the time the prices are swinging out and they are not worth it. But what is a good knife? A good knife is a knife that you're comfortable to use. After many years of using and abusing knives, there is no such thing as one knife can do it all. So I start designing my own knives. Even then they cannot do everything. But this was my very first knife. It's a common model with a drop point as most bushcraft knives. There is only one thing wrong with it. Every time I use it, the blade is chipping. So I think it's a tempering problem. My second knife that I designed was inspired of old paintings. It looks like a common kitchen knife, only I think this is more thicker than normal and it is also very sharp. My third and last knife that I designed is totally something different. It has a thumb rest over here, the blade is not that long. Now, knowing this knife is rusting by humidity and this one not, I take the best of two worlds. The thing that these knives has in common is that they are built up in the same way. So in the middle, I don't know if you can see it, but in the middle there is a layer of high carbon steel from a file, and the outside is stainless steel. Also with this knife. A real original bushcraft and survival knife. I have one here. A piece of flint. They use it for thousands and thousands of years. And they could be very sharp. Surgically, you know what I mean. All the knives that I have are for using. I'm not a collector, but I'm using my knives. These are the knives that I really use or have been used. What's the big difference in a bushcraft or a survival knife? Well, in essence, there is no difference. It is a very difficult topic. We say when a knife is a bushcraft or a survival knife. I'm tagging these three people because they live in totally different environments. Nothing sounds nicer than the knispering of a wood fire. It's now the end of the day, and if we look back, the only one thing that's really important for using your tools is your knowledge. Your knowledge is the key how to use them. In my case, if I look back and choose any of the knives that I have, there would be only one knife that I always take with me, and that is my Swiss Army knife. The three most important items for me for a Swiss Army knife is a lockable blade for safety, a saw and an awl. If I have these three things, I can mostly do anything.
Get out!